Whoa, I'm the Frenchman. I'm the DC Frenchman. I'm the Frenchman in Washington, D.C. Okay, everybody. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, good evening, good evening. Light here. I want to go back and make this video back over for everyone. Because a few minutes ago, I had made a video and I erased it by accident. But this video here is got to do with this right here, the pen gun. It's got to do with the pen gun, and it's got to deal with the first time that I ever shot a person. Yep, everyone, first time that I ever shot a person. And it was at the age of maybe 13 years old. I think I was 13 years old. Yes, I was 13 years old, possibly. I was still 13 years old, but I shot a man when I was young because this man was doing something he had no business doing, and it was a Spanish man. It was a Mexican man that did this. But I shot a man when I was 13 years old, with this right here. When I was young, I had a pen gun. Let me tell you the story why I did this, folks. Don't be mad at the DC Frenchman. I did it to help someone, which was my mother. One day, well, a couple of days, my mother came into the apartment building. She was like crying, looked like she had tears in her eyes and that sort of thing. And I was like, dang, what's wrong, Mama? It's my stepmother, Teresa French. She used to work for the Department of Defense and Mapping Agency up here in Washington, D.C. Teresa French, and she worked for the Walter Reed Hospital as the head nurse. That's where she met her demise at, because eventually, as I got older, when I got to the age of about 19 or 20, she committed suicide at Walter Reed Hospital. Yep, my stepmother committed an atrocity to my family. But this time, before my mother passed away, she told me that when she was coming into the building every day, someone was harassing her. She told me this Spanish man used to try to grab her, pull her skirt up, grab on her boobies, and harass her, try to kiss her for like over a month or so. I used to see tears in her eyes, and she running into the house and stuff with her bags and stuff, with sweat on her face and all this sort of stuff. And I asked her what was wrong. She told me it was the Spanish man. So I was like, I'm gonna do something about this. I got something for this Spanish man. I don't care how little I am. I ain't gonna have to use my fists on him. I got the "13 years old, folks. First shooting. I didn't mean to, but I had to. So this day I waited in the building. I just waited around in the building by the time till it was time for my mother to get in, my stepmother to get in. And I waited, and I waited, and I waited, and I waited with my little pen gun I had back in the days when I was 13 with the 22 long bullet. But I waited and waited, and I was like, eventually, I seen a Spanish man come in the building. He was a little short guy, stocky, little Spanish man, Mexican man, whatever you call him. And I was like, I hid around by the elevator in the dark, by the stairwell. He hid by the elevator, by the stairwell, around on the other side. And I knew it was time for my mother to come in. My pen gun, though, wasn't like the breakdown kind that breaks down and you do it all like. Mine's, it didn't break down like that. Mine's, you open it, put your 22 bullet in, close it back, pull the trigger back like this, and it locks in place. And there was another button beside it. You just touch that button and pow! Everyone, pow. One shot, one go. But this guy was in the hallway, and I waited, and I seen him, and he was around that corner, and I seen my mother come in the building at the same time. My mother gets into the elevator. My stepmother gets into the elevator, As soon as she get ready to get in the elevator, he runs to the elevator and sticks his arm in there and gets up in the elevator. And I runs around the corner behind him with the pen gun. And when I open the elevator door with my arms, I come up into the elevator like this with my pen gun. And my mother, she's like, "Oh! Oh!" And she sees me. She relaxes a little bit, but by the time she can relax, I pointed it at him. Round, bow! And I let it go. It was loud as hell in the elevator. The elevator opened up. He, me and my mother got out the elevator. He stayed in the elevator doors closed. He caught the elevator on back down the steps. Me and my mother ran into the apartment, and we could see him run on out of the building, out the apartment, and run on down the street like nothing ain't happened to him. Didn't call the police. He didn't call no Jakes, no police. He didn't call no one. I did the justice there with the pen gun. So I'd never seen this man again. I didn't think I seen this man again. But I didn't get in trouble for that. My stepmother didn't say anything to my father about it or anything. She let me off the hook and just told me thank you to my stepson. But another story in the same building, Uptown Northwest. These same Spanish guys in our building was beside another building, which was just one car could fit through the alley of our building and the building beside us. So you can see in the people who stays beside you in the building. So I couldn't shoot over there in people's window when I seen the man. But the man my mother come in every day, and the Spanish guy used to sit in the window and masturbate. And I used to say, this guy is freaking playing with his penis in the window while my mother is looking, and used to keep doing. I had a baby sister in the house that was younger than me, and I used to be like, oh, I'm gonna go get him for that right there. I got a trick for that fella right there. You wanna keep doing that to my stepmother? Oh, I got a sweet trick for him. So I was very, very ingenious about getting people back for stuff that they did to me. So I did this to him right here. Whoa, the lights fell, everyone, but just don't worry about that. We'll take this light and we'll put it that way. We'll put it that way. Sorry about that, everyone. But I got a piece of paper, folded it up. I'm already pre-folded, everyone. I folded it up, did it like this, made a jet, waited till my mother get home. She cooked dinner while he was in the window still masturbating, showing my mother everything. I made a pretty juicy jet like this, and I said, okay, I got a trick for this guy right here. Next time he does this, and I had it already planned out, everyone. But on mine, I took a tea bag, but I used to do it like this too when they get in the window. I used to take a tea bag, take all the tea out of it, use the string, tie the string here. I'll staple the string to the back of the plane, take the tea out of the tea bag, and light the tea bag on fire and throw this. But this time I didn't have time to do that. I did this, everyone. I lit it on fire at 13 when he was jerking off this time, and went around the corner to another room and disappeared when he seen me come to the window. Ran out the room, and I said, okay, and my mother was still in there cooking. I didn't care. In the next room around that way, in the next windows, and all I did was boom, right across the alley into his window, into his beautiful white sheer curtains. He didn't come in the bathroom where he was supposed to be at like he used to jerk off, and then already did his little thing in there in front of my mother. I guess he was going to clean up or whatever, but when he got back to the bathroom, because he seen me in there, the bathroom window was on fire. The curtains was on fire, guys. I freaking lit his curtains on fire because he kept masturbating in front of my mother in the alley, in the window, sisters in the house, and me as a 13 or 12-year-old. So I got his ass too. But I just want to tell you the first time that I tried to call myself drawing blood from a person, and that was when I used that pen gun right right there. And when I had to put that into action for a man, I couldn't get into his building for keep jerking off in front of my mother. So I did it the best way I could. I lit that and I did that. So thank you all for tuning in. But if you all want to hear some more stories, I got 1,000 stories written down here. Let me see. Right here on my paper, I got 1,000 stories written down quick out of my mind. Written down. I'm gonna give you one more story right here before I leave tonight, besides the shooting. My good deed that I did that always made me really not like homosexuality, where I didn't like homosexuals. And I'm not saying nothing against them, but I just really didn't like their acts and the ways that they did. One day, coming in from high school, I used to go to, where was I at? I was at Cadoza High School here in Washington, D.C. I used to go to Cadoza High School, everyone. Yep, the D.C. Frenchman used to go to Cadoza High School. That's where I used to go to. But this day I was cutting school, going out. No, I wasn't cutting school. I had ran away from home from my father, matter of fact. I was a runaway. I used to run away a lot. I got a million runaway stories I can tell y'all too if y'all ask me to tell you. But I had ran away from my father for a good 2 months because it was really, really hard on me. He wanted me to just be in Catholic school and just do what's right, but I'm glad he was like that. I would be in prison right now, but I was coming in from school this time. I was in public school this time, and I was going to Cadoza because I got kicked out of Catholic school for fighting. But I was walking through the alley from Cadoza High School, going through the alley down by 14th Street, Northwest, up that way, and I kept hearing something like, making these noises and all this sort of stuff. So I was like, what in the heck? I thought it was a cat or something maybe up on the fire escape. So I just slowed down and I looked up. I just so happened to look up, and I'm like, and I see a hand, everyone. I see a hand of a boy sticking out of the building, an abandoned building, with the side of the fire escape there. He was like he was trying to come out of the door, out of the window. So I like, hey, I screamed up there, you all right? Who is that? And he was like, me, help me. And I was like, look some more. So I was like, freak this. I'm ready to see what this is. So I jumped up, grabbed the fire escape, because they got these weights on them back in the days. They still got some of them here in D.C., but you ain't gonna see them too often. Jumped up and I pulled it down and jumped up on it, everyone. Climbed up to the second floor of the apartment building. And when I got up there on the apartment building, he couldn't climb out yet. He just had this much of his arm sticking out on the fire escape, screaming and stuff. And it was a naked boy down there. He was about 12 or 13 years old. Yeah, about 12 or 13. He was naked. Close cut, haircut, kind of little chubby little boy. And he was like, help me, help me. I was like, what happened? His head was bloody. Blood, dried up blood was all on his face. Dried up blood on his body, but the blood was still kind of fresh and stuff. So I was like, what happened? Mind you, I'm on the fire escape on the side of the building now, y'all. I'm like, what happened? It was like, these women in long wigs last night told me they was gonna give me something, and I had something for me, and I went over there to them, and they pulled me in their car. And when I got in the car, I found out that they weren't women. They was some big men's in wigs. And they put something over my mouth and pulled me in this building. And then all I know, I heard a big bang and stuff. And he said, I think they shot me in my head or something like that. And I was like, and I seen the wound on the side of his head. So it must have been with a small caliber, but he had lived, ladies and gentlemen. This guy lived, he was just bloody. And he might have been a little paralyzed or something. But I don't know. But I pulled him out on the fire escape. He was naked. pulled him out on the fire escape, jumped out, told him I was ready to go get him some help. So I ran down to this place called, it was a Golden Dome, up this way, Golden Dome. And we used to have places where you could play games at, like Pac-Man, Galaxy, and all this sort of stuff like this. Ran down there and I called the ambulance and I called the fire department. I ran back up there with them and I showed them where the boy was, and they went up there and got the boy down, and I watched the whole procedure, and he was just telling them that some fake ladies that was men pulled him in the building last night and raped him and shot him in the head. He said they stuck their things in his butt. And I apologize for saying that on the web and stuff, but they said they did him, and he was bloody back there. He was bloody in the head and stuff like that. So came to find out I had rescued the little boy and stuff. And you know, I always remember that, things like that in my past, all these sorts of things that run through my mind and stuff. A million stories that I could tell y'all that I got that's in the back of my mind, suppressed memories and stuff that I've always kept on the low, you know what I'm saying, so I can keep myself together in my life, right? But I'd like to thank y'all for tuning in to the DC Frenchman Show. And yeah, I rescued that little boy and pulled him off the balcony, got him up out of that building, an abandoned building, naked, shot in the head, and sexually molested and stuff. So I really was on it. I be on my P's and Q's and saving people. I done pulled a couple people out the subway system up here in DC too. I remember this one time I was taking my son to school. I was about to take my son to school on the train system, on that green line going uptown. I used to always take him to school. He's 16 now, and I try to tell him to take your own self to school and stuff, but he takes the train himself to school. But we was on the way to his school that morning, and I looks down in the train station. It was a boy down there waiting on the next train to come by to kill him. This boy was really, really light-skinned, blue eyes, pretty light-skinned boy. Looked like he had a black and a white perm or whatever, you know what I'm saying? Looked like he had a black and a white perm. Looked like he was mixed breed. Good hair. Me and my son looking down on the track. The train about to come in the next 3 minutes. And it pissed me the heck off because I'm thinking to myself how hard I had a time that I've had it since I was young. And this boy sitting up here with all these nice clothes on, good hair, nice book bag, ready to kill himself. I don't know what he said it was for, but it pissed me off with my son. So I told him this right here while he was on the track. I told him the train comes in 3 minutes. And you ain't gonna have to worry about the train doing nothing to you if my son even see the remotely that you about to get killed in front of him. You go have turmoil in my son's brain before I get his education, before he grow up to get a big boy like you and can make nice decisions. So I said, you got about 1 minute before I jump the freak down there, and I'm gonna beat you so bad, I'm gonna knock your ass out and slam your head till I know you sleep, and then it's gonna be easy for me to get you up off that track. And everybody on the train track just looked at me like, whoa. The boy looked up at me and said, looked at my son, and he said, oh, IOT, I got you, man. I got you, man. I said, get your ass up here and tell me what's going on. If it's that bad, man, you can go over there and get them to make you want to kill yourself. He said, all right, OT, I got his hand up in that minute. In that minute, I got him up off the track. Pulled him back up on the stand. I don't know if he went somewhere else and killed himself, but he wasn't going to do it on my time. He might have, but he wasn't doing it on my time, ladies and gentlemen. Not on French's time and on my son's educational time. And not nobody in the subway time that need to go to work. There's too much turmoil going on in the world. And I tell you people, I know y'all scary and don't like getting involved in people's business and shit like that and staying out of the world. But if people start getting in people's business more, we'll have a lot better world. Hint, meaning these fathers out here in the world. I wouldn't have had to do that, but I did have a father that worked 24/7. That's why I capped that Spanish man. Because my father was at work 24/7. I did that on my own, but my father would have whooped that little Spanish man if he had known that. My mother must have been saving him. And he was going to try to take care of herself, but she couldn't. I took care of it. But if you all take care of y'all families and take care of y'all men, stand up and be men and ignore what the woman say, even if she in the house, just raise the family until for 20 years and then you go on about your business. That's my thing. Even if you don't like your family, raise them for 20 years and then go about your business and you can get a blessing from God. He'll know what you went through and what's going on. And your family might see what you're going through with them because they're going to grow the fuck up and tell you, thank you, like they did me. But thank y'all for tuning in to the DC Frenchman Show. Every show is a show, and every show is slanging and banging. Every show is real. I gotta go get me something to drink too, guys. Every show is real. Every show is the truth. Every show is not fictional, but fiction. Is it fiction? Let's say it's real, 100% real. I don't have no reason to lie with this life. And before I leave this life, I'm gonna tell the truth about it, so the rest of y'all fools can know what's going on. And be a man, stand up for your family if you don't have a father to stand in for you. But my father was always there for me. I just wanted to be a man. All right, guys. I guess that's it for tonight. Next show, tune in. It's going to be about near-death experiences. Near-death experiences, the times that I've died in life, and I'm going to tell you what God told me. Well, I've died, and the nurses and doctors told me, hey, sir, you died from Garner, North Carolina to Raleigh, North Carolina. You was dead in the ambulance. And not from no gunshot and all that. But stay tuned to the next show, and you're going to find out what DC Frenchman died from and near-death experiences. Thank y'all for tuning in. Like, share, and subscribe. $ DC Frenchman. Y'all have a nice evening. Peace.